2021 is wrapping up and there were quite a few games with nice, shiny, pretty graphics. That's all we're doing today. We're just talking about looks. So here are 10 of our favorite video game graphics from 2021 games. Starting off with number 10, let's talk about Hitman 3. This released at the very start of 2021, but it shouldn't be forgotten, not just for its really awesome gameplay, but also for just how damn pretty it is. The newer Hitman games, like the newer trilogy, the World of Assassination trilogy, they all look great. It's a really good engine, it scales well, whatever platform you're playing it on, but Hitman 3 really doubled down on it with like bigger, more beautiful environments, but also just some crazy lighting effects. There's a couple of levels that just really flex it and felt like they were designed just to show how powerful their game really is. First, you have the amazing skies of Dubai, but then you have like the really cool underground techno clubs in Germany. But the biggest one really is Chongqing, China. The streets are covered in rain and water and neon lights and signs everywhere, and it's just visual overload, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. And not to mention the fact that they are adding ray tracing support to this game to really take it to the next level. Even without it, it already looks like it has ray tracing enabled. It is just the perfect mesh of like really powerful graphics and just great visual design. To see the rain dripping down 47's face, to see the neons reflected in the puddles, it really is a sight to behold, and we recommend it obviously for the gameplay, but also for the pretty visuals. Now, next over at number 9, we have Kena, Bridge of Spirits. This released on PlayStation and PC, and man, is it a looker. Don't let the cartoony art style deceive you. There's a lot going on here. Some incredible draw distances, some great effects, frame rate, really sharp character designs, and tons of details in the environments. When everything is really going at 100%, it is a visual feast, from the crazy particle effects and the lighting that comes from Kena's abilities to all the little rock creatures running around you, all with their own individual little hats and details. This was just a gorgeous game from top to bottom. It's bright, it's colorful, it looks like, not to be so derivative, but it looks like a Pixar movie come to life. And that is technically impressive, and we gotta give them credit for that. Next over at number 8, we have Far Cry 6, which honestly at this point it is a bit of an obligatory mention. Far Cry games always look damn great, and whether or not you actually enjoyed Far Cry 6, you can't deny that it is a hell of a looker. The world is absolutely massive, it's bright, it's filled with detail, the world looks lived in. There's an actual city in the landmass this time, and that's pretty impressive. You don't really see that in Far Cry games. Not to mention the fact that they went back to a tropical setting, which kind of is an easy win. You get these beautiful tropical sunsets, you get the reflective water, the beautiful water graphics, the foliage of the jungles, the sand, you have fire, you have smoke, you have leaves, you have all that stuff going on. It looks really great on consoles, and it looks even better when you crank it up to 1,000,000 on PC. Far Cry games are simple, good lookers. They've been that way since day one. The original Far Cry game was like, wow, this looks amazing. And it's nice to see that they're still keeping that tradition up, Next, over at number 7, we have Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Believe it or not, this game can look pretty damn good. Now, when this was first revealed, the gameplay snippets, the trailers they showed, made the game look kind of flat and weird, and maybe the character models looking a little jarring. But please trust us on this. The game in motion, when you see it with your own eyes, it does look pretty damn good. Not to mention the fact that it just has a really good visual art style and design of these worlds and technology, just good sci-fi stuff, but it's got the graphics to back it up. Characters show real emotion, they look realistic, but they also actually convincingly do things with how they smile, with how they talk, how they emote. You even see tears well up in some characters' eyes. There's impressive stuff going on here. Not to mention the fact that the game is showing you beautiful depictions of stuff like Nowhere, where there's shiny bright lights and neon everywhere. There's ships flying around, there's streets filled with weird aliens, steam rising up. You're also just, of course, in the interior of a Celestial's head, so that comes with a lot. It also has one of the better looking dogs we've ever seen in video games with Cosmo. That's an impressive feat unto itself. Guardians of the Galaxy really surprised us. As 2021 wraps up, we're going to be talking about this one quite a bit. Now, next over at number 6, we have the Ascent, another game with just some incredible visuals. I mean, look at this. Even though it's top down, the graphics are working overtime here. Look at the draw distance, look at the level of granular detail down to every little thing. The way the lighting works, the way all the characters look, the way everything moves and how it's smooth, especially if you're playing on PC. Wherever you are though, it just looks insane. There's a reason people have modded this game to get it in first person to see those details up close. It is that impressive. It takes that cyberpunk aesthetic design and runs with it. It goes even higher concept and crazier and riddled with detail, and it's really worth experiencing. Even if you're not a fan of this type of gameplay genre, fire up some 4K videos and check this game out. Next, over at number 5, we have Bright Memory Infinite, a game developed by a small team. It's a brief first-person shooter experience with some really fun gameplay, but also some incredibly over-the-top visuals. We made a before you buy video about it, and frankly, we made the video because we saw the graphics and we were like, ooh, cool, that looks cool, let's make a video. And it turned out it plays really well. It's a ton of fun, but look at the visuals here. Everything on screen is moving, from the breeze in the trees, to leaves, to wind, to crazy particle effects when you're fighting enemies, to water everywhere, to tons of little details, and with it all firing off at a high frame rate, it really is incredible. Now, even if the main character looks a little weird, you know, there's some uncanny valley stuff going on here when you're playing in first person and you have those enemies up in your face and you're doing crazy combat and there's all those effects and there's like always a thunderstorm going on and tons of cool lighting. It really is impressive. Next, over at number 4, we have Resident Evil Village, another game that released earlier in 2021, but man, is it a looker. A lot of it does come from the art direction and some of the design, but the Resident Evil game engine, or the RE engine, which actually doesn't technically stand for Resident Evil, believe it or not, that tool set just produces some damn good looking games. Look at Resident Evil here and what we have going on. Some dense, spooky foliage, dark caverns and caves, soaring and incredible castles and architecture, gross, nasty, sad buildings in the creepy village, tons of gore, tons of detailed enemies all the time. Say what you will about the actual game itself, the visual graphics and the sound design together just make it a hell of an experience. This is a game where you get your face up in your monitor or your TV, you turn out the lights, and just get immersed. The graphics really sell that here. Next, over at number 3, we have Forza Horizon 5. Of course, we were going to have some racing games. They always look damn good, and Forza Horizon 5 definitely raises the bar once again. With good resolution, good frame rates, and just a massive, detailed, gorgeous world, it is impressive. But when you also couple in these highly detailed cars with their reflective surfaces and all of their little tiny intricate things going on with them, it truly is wild. And then when you add on top of that the actual environmental effects, take a gorgeous, pretty car and then run it through some mud and some rain in the jungle where it suddenly starts raining and things just get even more crazier and the game does not skip a beat and continues to look gorgeous. It is something else, man. Some people, like on PC or maybe on Xbox if you have Game Pass, some people just download Forza games just to show off their new TV or their new monitor. You might be guilty of that, but hey, we're glad these games exist because they're gorgeous. Now down to number 2, we have Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Now, the PS5 had a really strong first year in terms of games, and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is definitely one of them. It's actually kind of crazy that a quote-unquote cartoony style game can look this good. They pushed it to the limit. You know, it's again developed by Insomniac, and they really do get it when in terms of making games look pretty, so it's not a big surprise. Everything from Ratchet's fur to the environments to space to how weapons fire to how shiny Clank is, everything, really, it all just looks really good. There's a part where you're grinding on a rail through a city and you can see all the hover cars flying around, all the detail, all the lights on the buildings, and then sometimes the set piece just gets even crazier and it all moves forward without a clip. It's all very much a wow moment constantly. The same can be said about using and traveling through the rifts, you know, especially the big first scene where you do it. How quickly you move from one gorgeous detailed environment to the next, like how quickly they load, is absolutely unreal, and it just makes for a full package, just a gorgeous and classic style video game. Now down to number 1, we have Ride 4. Now this game technically released on PC in 2020, but it hit the consoles in 2021, so we're gonna count it. And we definitely should, because I mean, look at this on screen here. It looks absolutely insane. This motorcycle racing game is not only just a ton of fun and highly realistic, but you get crazy dynamic weather effects. When you play it in first person, it looks like real life. Like, I don't really have a lot to say. It handles speed really well. It has the detail of the bikes, the sense of speed is there, but just the way the roads look and how the weather and the lighting works, it just ties it all together. This thing is unreal. It's gone viral a couple of times, just small clips of the game, because people just don't believe it. You have to see it to believe it. It is wild. But man, video games are awesome. But there you have it. Today, we just wanted to talk about pretty, gorgeous graphics. Sometimes it's fun to just gush a little bit and be impressed by technology. So we want to hear from you guys in the comments. What games from 2021 blew you away the most in the visual department? There's tons out there. It was hard to narrow it down to 10, but if you got your own list, let us know. Now, if you had fun today just talking about this stuff with us and appreciated it, all you got to do is click the like button. But if you're new, consider subscribing and maybe hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.